So,
How you
wow.
been, John?
um, Not that good, actually. Yeah. Since last time we talked, I've kind of got a headache.
You look terrible.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. That harbinger is right in the middle again. Right in the middle.
It looks like you're
Uh,
wearing a dunce cap with that
it does, yeah.
band doing right over your head.
Oh, gosh, I can never go the right way.
That's right. We're backwards.
Wow, it takes a lot of energy to do that. Hey, question for you today for our topic. So when do you know you've created something special, Cole? Is it, as you're out in the field and you make the shot, or do you have to have processed it and then you know? Or is it when you've actually released it and you start to get somewhat of a response? Or, when you win an award? Where are you on that spectrum?
Well, there's been many times I've taken the shot thinking I've got a winner and it
Oh,
doesn't pan out.
yeah.
And there have been a few times when I didn't think I had a winner and it did turn out.
Hmm.
But for the most part, I would say that when I've finished processing the image and I'm gone through my phases and I've stopped making changes, then I'll know.
Yeah.
And by a winner, I mean something that I love,
Yeah.
that I'm proud of, that I'd be proud to show others and say, I created this.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty in the same boat. I mean, why would I share it unless I loved it, right? So I
Oh,
honestly
I've done
don't.
it. I've done it.
Oh, really?
Sure. You're doing the weekly or daily
Oh,
social media posts. You got to have something, and you're putting out stuff that you're not really proud of, you don't really love, but you say to yourself, but maybe somebody will.
yeah, yeah, I guess okay. Guilty. Yeah, not as much anymore at all.
No.
I don't think I've posted anything that I wouldn't want to post in a couple of years, honestly.
Oh,
Have I
good.
posted some because of that? Because I feel the need to, because I have a business and I want people to know
Yes.
that I'm an active photographer. So are they A minuses and maybe even B pluses? Probably. But I would hope there's more A pluses out there, stuff that I really truly love. But to get back to that list, I mean, for sure, I I don't need to get to, I got to put it out there, release it, and make sure that people respond positively for me to continue to love my image. I don't need that. And certainly I don't compete. I don't put things out there for that reason. I don't have an interest in doing that. So I don't need that validation either. I know it after I processed it. But I thought initially you might say, man, I know right in the field. But you're right. I mean, if I think about a previous show a long time ago, what's your keeper ratio? Yeah,
1 to 1,000, I say I've never counted,
yeah.
but
And I
it's
haven't
like
either,
that.
but I bet it's pretty close to that. I
Yeah.
think in Scotland it's a little higher. I really, really connected with that Cairngorm area. I loved it a lot. So I think it's a little higher, but in general, it's pretty low. I think Brooks Jensen said, what did he say? He's got X amount of hundreds of thousands of images. And I want to say he came up with something like 12%
Yeah,
ever
he
see
did the
the,
math.
yeah, he did the math. It was like some very, very, very low number
Yeah.
that were even rated enough to do something with. Never mind, did those end up becoming something that was on the wall? It's probably 10% of the 10% that made it to that level. So I don't care about all that stuff.
But what's interesting is I've talked to many people who belong to photo clubs who have this
Oh,
idea that if it wins a ribbon, that's evidence it was good.
yeah.
So let's look at the converse. Does that mean if your image doesn't win something, it's a bad image? What a terrible way to judge the worthiness of your work by whether or not it receives a ribbon, judged by a person who has his own likes and dislikes and own prejudices and own vision. And it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it
In fact,
really.
I would argue that if your image doesn't get a blue ribbon in your photo club, that's probably a good thing. It's got a better chance of being a good image than not, because let's face it, those images who win tend to be ones that follow the formula.
Yeah, they conform
Yeah,
to
yeah.
what is supposedly good. And again, I always go back to, imagining Pablo Picasso, coming to have a beer with his friends, and he takes the brown paper off of course they didn't have that back then, but I imagine brown paper, ripping it off of this pointillism thing that he did and showing it to Renoir and Rembrandt and all of his buddies, and they all went, "What the crap is that?
Yes.
What are you thinking? That's horrible. I can't even tell what it is."
I think
Yes,
I just read a quote by Pablo Picasso's wife who said that if he was walking down the street and saw a woman who looked like one of his paintings, he'd faint and die.
I love it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the reality is that you might not conform, but it's your art. It's what's making you happy, and it might
Yeah.
change the world
Yeah. Well, after you're dead, maybe.
after you're dead. Yeah, it's not going to happen while you're alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's for
Oh
sure.
my gosh. Well, it is interesting. My standard is what do I think of the image? And look at when I publish an image, and I do generally once every few weeks on social media. And let's face it, honestly, I would love a lot of likes,
Of
but I
course.
also know whether I get a lot of likes or get a few likes, it means nothing as to the quality of the image. It just means one image is more popular than others.
Yep.
It doesn't speak to its quality.
Or it means that the algorithm showed it to that many more people that day than it did. I mean, really true, right?
Mm,
I have no idea what's going on with that algorithm and why I don't get shown your pictures some days and some days I don't. I mean, you just can't rely on that to
no.
I remember hearing from a gentleman who said to me he uses social media to determine whether he's got a winner or not, and
Oh,
he
please.
literally throws away the raw files of those that do not get enough likes, and he's got a gallery, and that's how he decides what goes into the
Oh
gallery.
my gosh. Well, I guess if you're running a business, there could be some wisdom to that because it doesn't say whether it's a good or a bad image. It says if it's a more popular
Correct.
image, and more popular images have a greater chance of selling than less
Yeah.
popular
So if you
images.
want
So,
to pay the electric bill and the
yeah,
light,
yeah.
probably not a
But
bad idea. But
oh,
if
but
you
I'd
do,
hate that. I'd hate that life.
oh, it'd be awful. Yeah, it would
Yeah.
be. So, all right, good discussion. We'll see you in another couple of minutes.